but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman.
Hey, started out around the man with the geezers with this shit, then one talk the prop about the cheek. All of them talks, my bad ass still ain't listen, was living, but taught me the ways they.
What is going on? Happy Thursday, y'all. Happy Thursday. What is up? I am Danny Marie, your podcast bestie. I help podcasters and business owners use podcasting as a marketing tool so they can build trust with their audience and turn listeners into customers through clear content strategies, systems, and training. And by the way, if you're a business or advertiser, I help you get in front of the right audience so you can increase sales and brand awareness through podcast promotions, creator partnerships, and live activations. We have a lot to cover today. I am here every day of the week, Monday through Friday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, talking all things AI, podcasting, content creation, or the creator economy for that matter, and a bit of pop culture sprinkled in as well. Today, we're talking about how to use healthy habit hacks to optimize your weekly podcast production, because over the last 24 to 48 hours, several major stories have been signaling where podcasting, AI, and the creator economy are headed next. And if you're a creator, these aren't just headlines. These are clues, context clues. They're telling us what skills, systems, and habits creators are going to need moving forward. So in this first half, let's cover some of the general news that I think you guys care about. And then the second half, let's get into the topic of the hour, which again, how to use healthy habits to optimize your weekly podcast production, okay? And then you guys, I'm going to go out and enjoy the rest of my day. I hope you all go out and do the same. By the way, if you're watching live, comment the word live. And then if you catch the replay, comment the word replay. Let us also know where you're tuning in from. We would love to know. We do events at least once a quarter around the U.S. So last month it was Atlanta, Georgia for the Black Effect Podcast Festival that we all met up at. And then in August, tentatively speaking, we'll be in North Carolina. So we want to know what place should we visit next. And we don't know if you don't tell us. Let us know where you are, who's a part of this growing and thriving community. All right, so let's get into the big shifts that are happening right now. Netflix bets bigger on podcast personalities. So Netflix is officially bringing The Breakfast Club to its platform as a live weekday show. Now, most people see this as a radio story, but for me, I see this as a distribution story. Netflix is telling us that creator-led conversations can compete with traditional television programming. And for years, people have been asking, should I start a podcast? I think the conversations should have evolved by now, and people should be asking, how many places should my podcast live in today's growing and thriving economy? So that means audio, video, live streams, clips, newsletters, social media. The winners are becoming platform agnostic. You know, we like to give a vocab term every time we show up on live. Platform agnostic was one of them. If you don't know what platform agnostic means, just in short, it means almost omnipresent, being everywhere across platforms and not narrowing down to just one, two, or a few. It's being everywhere your listeners are. All right, Byron Allen and BuzzFeed. So another interesting story is the discussion around Byron Allen and BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed isn't known as a podcast company. However, it is known for something even more valuable: attention, audience, distribution, newsletters, creator relationships, social reach. And that's the lesson here, folks. Major media companies continue buying audience businesses instead of building audiences from scratch. So for creators, the question isn't how do I get on BuzzFeed? The question is, How do I build something valuable enough that companies want access to my audience, including your email lists, your memberships, your communities, direct relationships? That's why I don't let anyone shame us independent podcasters for having niche audiences. If you haven't paid attention, nano, micro influencers are kind of winning right now because they've curated these very small niche audience. We know that these people care. These people care about this particular topic. So these assets continue to increase in value. Again, email lists, memberships, communities, direct relationships. Make sure you're building at least one of those at the end of the day. Now, the AI infrastructure race is accelerating. So while most creators are talking about ChatGPT prompts or something much bigger, Google and Blackstone are investing billions into AI infrastructure. So you know about NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA continues reporting record growth because demand for AI is exploding. Why should creators care, you ask? Because these investments eventually become tools, better editing tools, better transcription tools, better automation tools, better content repurposing, better workflows, AI podcast hosts, your avatars, lower production costs. The AI tools we're using today are likely the worst that they'll ever be. They're only going to get better. Now, last thing before we dive into the main topic, the podcast industry signal. Another interesting signal comes from Vox Media, VOX. So investors continue showing strong interest in podcast businesses. You guys know we talk about this all of the time. You are the media company. You are the business, and you should start treating your podcast as such. It's not just the podcast. It's podcast businesses that are going to win in this next economy, the next wave. The conversation is shifting from should I have a podcast to how do I build a business around my podcast? Video, memberships, events, courses, consulting, community, sponsorships, partnerships. Podcasting is becoming an infrastructure for businesses. It's not just about the content, guys. All right, that's enough. We talked about Netflix with the Breakfast Club. We talked about Byron. We talked about Vox Media. We talked about NVIDIA. Here's why all of these stories matter. BuzzFeed, AI, or podcast businesses, the common thread is creators are becoming the media companies. And many creators are trying to operate those media companies by themselves. So that's why we're talking how to do. That's why we're talking about how do we optimize our weekly podcast production without burning ourselves out. So I have a few hacks for you guys. This is from personal experience that I want to share with you all today. Maybe these work with you or for you. Maybe they don't. Maybe you work at getting better at these things and developing habits. We're going to talk a little bit about habit stacking. And so pay attention, make sure you're at a point where you can take some notes. And if you can't, always go back to our YouTube channel and review the transcripts because that's also beneficial. Now, what I will say, sorry about that I had that up there the entire time. I'm going to share with you the poll that we have. I want to know where you all fall on this list because we're talking about creator burnout and we're talking about healthy habit stacking. So what is burning you out these days? Is it the editing and the production? Is it content creation and planning? Is it promotion and social media? Is it trying to do everything, period? I'm going to share that with you, and then I'm going to go visit the chat to see who's tuning in. Hello, Miss Michelle. Miss Michelle, make sure you all send your shout outs. She's tuning in from YouTube. I miss you too, and I'm so happy that you got to tune in. Make sure to follow and support her. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you'll see her chat bubble Make sure to find her profile and follow her. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, leave some comments in the chat so people can see you engaging. You can meet people in the chat, other people that you can collaborate with in the near future. Feel free to drop your links for your podcast episodes that maybe you dropped in recent weeks. This is a community forward platform. So feel free to be you, do you, but also respond to this poll. What burns you out the most? Is it editing and production, content creation and planning, promotion and social media, or just everything? Trying to do it all on your own. While you guys are answering the poll, I'll tell you, I started off in a professional podcast studio, and I was paying about $650 a month. I think by the end of it, we had 20 episodes for $4,500 total. And although it was a hefty price to pay for production, I didn't have to worry about doing the things on my own. Up until the point that I no longer was recording with my producer and I decided to start from scratch, then I got to see things from a very different point of view. And then I hired people to help me along my journey as well. So I hired someone to find guests for me. I hired someone to do all of my scripting because at the time I had about 5 different shows. And then I hired another person to help me with the business side of things, to help with like organizing and scheduling and staying abreast of pertinent information as I moved into coaching. So I had about 3 people on my team. And now it's just me and leveraging AI tools, because before then, when I first got started, we weren't using AI the way we are now. So now you can access AI tools that help with the production, with the editing, clipping up the long form into short form episodes, help with the script, the SEO, the AEO, and then hiring AI avatars, AI assistants. So using tools like Marblism, which we've talked about for so many different episodes, so many different live streams. Marblism, you have access to about 5 different AI assistants, everyone from doing your legal, your social media, your blog writing, your executive assistant, and your receptionist. And I know that they just recently added a slew of other AI avatars. And so, yes, the journey for me has been very different from how I started to where I am at today. But that's all a part of my creator makeup, who I am, how I show up as a content creator and coach. Comes from a lot of doing things on my own, figuring things out, trying different methods, different formats, different styles, and giving myself permission to be experimental. And I have witnessed and experienced burnout. When I first started recording, back when I did 20 episodes with my podcast producer at the time, recording for the Mother and Daughter Duo podcast, I was in my 2nd pregnancy, the 3rd trimester. So yeah, burnout hit me, and burnout caused me to have a lapse in the Mother and Daughter Duo podcast, leading to what I ended up doing next, which was Follow Me Friday. But there was some time in between where I wasn't podcasting just to get my bearings back in order. As a mom of 2 children under 2 at that time, it got tough. It got hectic. So I know what burnout is like in my personal and professional life. And then for my podcast, I understand. I've done everything from my own editing and production, doing the content creation and the planning, doing the promotion and social media, trying to do everything on my own. Now I'm at a place where I feel like I have a good handle on things. And anytime things kind of go awry, I know how to get things back on track because I have systems and tools and AI in place to help me show up and be efficient and effective at what I do. So it's okay that you experience burnout as long as you know that there are remedies, there are solutions to every problem, right? So again, with that, what burns you out the most? Is it editing and production? We have the poll up right now. Content creation and planning, promotion in social media, or trying to do everything, period. Let's see. I don't know if we have any responses just yet, but I want you to answer that question, and I'm going to continue forward while you all are taking some time to think about that, because I think this type of engagement is important. So we're talking about no matter what you're experiencing, no matter what type of fatigue, no matter the cause of the fatigue, we have a few healthy habit hacks that we want to share with you, again, from firsthand experience. So, healthy habit hack number 1, move more than your mouse. Most creators spend hours sitting down, recording, editing, planning, posting, researching, scrolling. One of the easiest improvements that you can make is take 5 minutes to move around between your creative tasks. Sometimes in between my creative tasks, I go and do a delivery. I'll sit at the park with my kids while I'm editing, get back in the car, do another DoorDash delivery, jump out, do an exercise circuit, get some fresh air, walk around, run around, play with my kids, do something active, whatever it is. But have something in your regimen that's for you. Some type of self-care, stretching. You can do your whole breathing exercises. You can do desk yoga. You can walk around in your community, stretch. There's something that you could be doing, even if you say, I don't have a lot of time in my day. I think nobody trumps my lack of time when I was working 2 jobs. And just now that I'm able to have more time in my day, which I'm extremely grateful for. But at the time, 2 kids under 2, a baby on my hip sometimes, kids sometimes in the background, and still getting it done, I believe you can do it too. All right, healthy habit hack number 2, let AI handle the repetitive work. So AI should remove any friction. It should not take away from the creativity. You only use it for those redundant tasks that you don't like doing. Like the episode outlines, create a custom chat GPT for that. Your show notes, create a custom chat GPT for that. Your descriptions, same thing. Title ideas, email drafts, workflow documentation, clip suggestions. Every repetitive task you automate frees up your mental energy for the work that you love doing. Your perspective, your storytelling, your voice should all be the same, but you should delegate these tasks to AI avatars, AI assistants, or at least hire someone. You can find somebody on Fiverr.com or Thumbtack, or you can go to any of these Facebook communities and tell people that you're hiring, but you get what you pay for. And I can assure you a lot of this stuff can be done through AI. Some of the AI tools that I use, just to name them off very quickly, Manus, ChatGPT, Gemini, Opus Clips, Notebook LM, okay? Marbleism. Healthy habit hack number 3, batch with recovery. Many creators understand batching. Very few understand recovery. So you don't want to record for 8 hours straight. Record during the time that you feel is most optimal, where you feel the most energized in your week. So you don't want to do it right at Sunday for me would be difficult because that's the day my body knows I'm supposed to be relaxing. So batch recording, I've recorded a few episodes on a Sunday during the earlier part of the day, but too late in the day, you know that impacts your energy. There was a time when I was recording right after my second child was born, and 2 people under 2, like I said, not getting any sleep. They both have very different sleep schedules. And so I was recording, trying to be up early in the morning, but you could hear it in my voice. I was groggy. It just wasn't a good look. So think about that. Record during your best energy window. Maybe that's 2 episodes max, maybe 3 if you can squeeze it in, and then stop. Allow yourself to take a break, recover, and come back later. Consistency comes from rhythm, not punishment. Healthy hack number 4, create analog recovery time. Analog breaks are screen-free breaks. No phone, no laptop, no notifications, no analytics. Take time again to walk, journal, read, garden, stretch, sit outside. Your brain needs recovery just like your body does. Creators spend so much time consuming information that they rarely leave room to process the information. And that's where analog recovery becomes very powerful. Now, healthy habit hack number 5, protect your ecosystem. Your podcast isn't just content, it is your ecosystem. That ecosystem includes your health, your systems, your audience, your intellectual property, your business. Schedule offline hours. Stop obsessively checking your analytics. Protect your mental health. Separate your identity from your numbers. That's huge for a lot of us. And remember, as AI and AEO continues to evolve, organization matters more than ever. Documentation matters. I created myself using tools like Lovable or Google Spreadsheets or Google Forms. I created SOPs. I've created spreadsheets. I've kept my master email list log. I create everything from when I do my webinars for my 5-day Launch Your Podcast Challenge or Sprint that I use interchangeably sometimes. I documented the questions people ask when they do that course. I document, their pain points. I document the things that they got hung up on. All of those things are documented so that in the event that I build this thing out to essentially becoming like this big media company or media network, if somebody wanted to buy me out, I've been keeping and tracking everything. And then it goes back into, what to create and how to offer solutions to your audience when you know what their pain points are and you've been studying it and you are like really hands-on and exactly from them, their word of mouth, what they need help with, and you build that out because you have a personal relationship and you've been documenting the entire time. Ownership matters more than ever before. Now, this is why podcast plug, shameless plug exists. Most creators are trying to figure it out. AI, systems, monetization, branding, organization, automation, content strategy, all by themselves. And Podcast Plug helps creators build their creator operating system. Because creators don't need content strategies anymore, they need infrastructure. Okay? So this week, you guys, oh, by the way, Podcast Plug, you can find more information on our website, plantopodcast.com. And hopefully it's been streaming. It has not been. Let's make sure we stream that at the very bottom. plantopodcast.com. Go to plantopodcast.com/memberships. That's with an S, if you haven't heard my list already. And we have more information about Podcast Plug. So everybody is promising you that they can deliver all of these results. I'm here to tell you that Paying all of these fees to every person that promises that they can help you, that's all fine and dandy, but I feel like they're not really scratching the surface. You come with me and I'll get you right. We'll build out the whole entire ecosystem for you, the infrastructure for you. Now we're trying this out. We can do this one-on-one, or we can build this thing out with a cohort, a community of people who come in, no more than 10 people max. And we're building these things out over the course of 4 weeks together. And I mean, like, first starting with your business license, then starting with your CRM tools, then starting with your templates, your custom GPTs, your website. So we're doing all of that. More information may be found on plantopodcast.com/memberships, or you can go to the plantopodcast.com website. And then on your right, I believe you'll see the option for all of the other tabs. And that's where you find memberships and look into the details of what does Podcast Plug actually do. Okay. Now, here's what I'm challenging many of you to do this week. I want you to audit your workflow, figure out where you have the most time, where is it more optimal for you to do your podcast batching, or where you promote or whatever based on your week. Sometimes, like I said, I'm editing in between deliveries. I'm editing while my kids are at the park. I'm editing while I'm walking around doing laps in my neighborhood. So I like to do habit stacking, where I'm doing multiple things at once for dual or multi-purposes, right? Killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So audit your workflow, identify 3 energy leaks, implement 1 healthy creator habit, automate 1 repetitive task, build 1 monetization pathway. So like that could be creating some shirts on Teespring and trying to sell them. That could go to Notebook LM and come up with your own digital products. All right, so I just dropped this in the chat so you have it and you can reference it and you can work on those things. Document your workflow, and remember, small improvements create massive results over time. Now, in closing, Netflix is investing in distribution. Media companies are investing in audiences. Billions are being invested into AI infrastructure, and creators are becoming media companies. The creators who win won't necessarily be working the hardest, but they'll be building the smart systems. They'll be protecting their energy, organizing their workflows, owning their audience, documenting their intellectual property, and using AI with intention. The goal, again, isn't to create more content. The goal is to create sustainability. Now, if you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure you join the community. Go to plantopodcast.com again. Find us on Facebook. We're called the Podcast Peeps. That is our Facebook group. And then this Saturday, we're hosting our regular weekly meetup. Find information about that on podcastpeeps.com. All right. And I will put that in the chat as well. All right, you guys, it's been a pleasure. Let me actually make sure I'm not missing out on any comments. Some comments using StreamYard show up. Some of them do not. And let me see, did we get the poll? Let's see. I think the results show up after. I haven't done the poll besides like 2 times. All right, so we're stopping that poll, and I'm gonna keep you guys abreast of the results of the poll if anyone filled it out. And let's see here. Michelle's watching on YouTube, and let's see if we have any comments on Facebook. Not yet. So you guys, that's all from me. I will see you all tomorrow, same time, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am your podcast bestie, Danny Marie. Over and out.
Hey,
but it wouldn't be nothing
yeah.
without a woman.
Hey, started out riding, man with the geezers, when that shit didn't work out, the pot about to